Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
So you two look stressed, both of you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mentioned that. What does it feel like as far as, like, am I requesting something from you when I just say you two look stressed?
Mm.
You feel pressured to say something? Come up with an answer? Anything?
Um, yeah,
Yeah, what?
I feel, I don't know. That's typically how I feel, but right today I feel a little more purposeful. Like I don't know. I want to talk about it.
Okay. But what does the pressure feel like?
Um, I don't know. I don't,
Do you go blank?
yeah, yeah.
How about you, Lexi?
I feel the pressure in my chest. I get, I feel anxious, like I will have to report why first, and then I like come back to Steve and Jesse, and that's not true. So pressure first, and then I can relax.
So it's interesting that you're describing that probably pretty accurately, seems to be, and the result of that is not doing anything.
What do you mean not doing anything?
In other words, Jesse, when he just spoke, feels
Mm,
pressured to do something.
mm,
In your case, you're describing the personal experiences, ver- seeming it seems pretty accurate, but there's no pressure to do anything.
no,
So think
no.
about the difference between the two of you immediately.
Mm.
Yeah, I do know like a sense of pressure. This just exists regardless, maybe of the introduction of the stress, but I'll let Jesse go first. Like I want Jesse to go first.
Why?
Um,
Instead of coming up with a reason, think about what it feels like.
it's easier.
Look at the difference in what you just answered. Hmm. I would guess, Lexi, that what I just saw, the difference between the two of you, is the main reason why you struggle to learn. Because it seems like you're more looking to resolve the pressure of being asked to know something. And if you can resolve it without learning, that's where you go.
Mm,
And then this whole 2 hours, if that's the main thing that got seen, that's the answer to you whether you can learn or not. That's what's happening.
Mm.
Can you say that one more time a little slower?
Say the two things that you felt when I said you both look stressed. What was the sequence that you had?
I started with the physical stress in my body. Um,
But your reporting was At first, you felt compelled to explain why you're stressed,
Mm-hmm.
and then you remembered that it's Steve and Jesse, and you relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Can you see that that experience has nothing to do with learning? In other words, it has to do with resolving the stress, period. Can you see that, Jesse?
Yeah, a little bit, I think. Like resolving the stress,
Instead of understanding the stress.
it's like mostly a feeling, it seems like. The feeling gets resolved, of stress.
That I don't know, okay? But what I do know is
Yeah.
she's resolving the question of why, which creates stress, by remembering that we are here and caring people. But nothing happens about her stress. She doesn't learn anything
Uh,
about her stress. And this
Oh.
is a personal experience,
yeah.
which all people, this is painful. And you don't learn, Lexie, anything. You don't even have a question yourself about your own stress.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, what you're just looking to do is resolve the
Mm,
unpleasant feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Resolve how? By changing the scene from you and the stress to you see me and Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
But nothing about what's your stress.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you say you feel the need to explain why you have stress to me, to the person who's asking the question, but you don't have curiosity about the stress yourself. What pattern is it in you that's behind this stress?
Well, I think that I just have a sense that it was time stress. I just make an answer about why I'm stressed.
Yes, I understand. But what I'm saying is, in the sequence that you said, and I'm not trying to make it the only way you think, but it was completely and utterly natural. There was no thing that I said to bias it beforehand, and you answered by leaving the scene and going
Mm,
to a less stressful scene.
I see what you mean now.
mm,
And if that's the pattern that is normal for you when you're, being asked if you what you understand or to learn something, then you won't learn anything because you're leaving the scene in which you could learn and
Mhm.
moving to a scene where there's less stress.
yeah.
Can you see that, Jesse? Does that make more sense?
Hmm. Yeah, I remember when I spoke to you about, I think it was with in here in the supervision a couple months ago. I was speaking to you. I would watch the first basics video, and it was the first time I heard I was seen, and I had a flood of whatever, oh shit, about hating myself pretty much. And I brought it up to you, and you jumped in the scene with me into what I was saying, and you were hurt that I pointed out one line in a 2 hour video that you spent a lot of time working on. And was stuck on that one scene. And I tried to wiggle out of it to
Mhm.
resolve it. I was like, no, 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 like I'm good now. I got through it. I just wanted to bring it up to you. And you literally said to me, if you want to learn, stay with this and stay in this scene. And it was so powerful to me. Um, Like I learned a lot from it. It's just reminding me of that. Like,
It is the same pattern, Jesse.
yeah.
But now I don't know because I don't have the thing I just saw with you, Lexi. It's the first time I'm seeing that clearly,
Hmm.
this morning.
Mhm.
So the piece that I watched, if you were to watch this 10 minutes back, the piece well, that I saw was that you didn't know the meaning of what I was talking about. You did not know my point. And I know that because when I asked you to repeat it back, you did a different thing about telling me the physical discomfort, which is
Mhm.
not what you said the first time. Even if that was there in the original thing, I was just going, I can't know what's in another person's mind. This is very important because it's invisible to me.
Mhm.
So I can only go by the physical evidence that my eyes can see from the outside. And then the secondary evidence where I ask you questions and you tell me what's in your mind. So those two levels of evidence, the physical evidence that I can see, and then me asking you to tell me about the evidence that describes what's invisible to me, what's in your mind, those two pieces are all I can do.
Mhm.
So if you then change scenes, I have no idea what's happening. And at one point, basically all I did this morning was say, that's not what you said originally, and I repeated back what I remembered.
Mhm.
Then, but my point is that in some sense, Lexi, you are intuiting correctly that the question involves what's the meaning,
Mhm.
not just the description of that you're under stress, like your physical body, but what does it mean to you?
Mhm.
And because you're seen, meaning doesn't come to you easily. So rather than just see it as words, so the top are two scenes, and you see the arrows circling inside, and on the bottom is one story.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You see where the arrow is in the scenes? It's inside the scene.
Hmm.
You're circling in effect looking around in the scene. But do you see any arrows in the scenes in the story one? Inside the scenes?
No.
Hmm.
No. Correct. The time is observed from outside the three scenes. So, if I was walking down a hallway past three doors on my left side, and the doors are closed, or
Mhm.
even if the doors were open a crack, how much am I going to know what's going on in the scenes? Not a
No.
lot.
Yeah.
Right. Because my main thing is moving past the scenes. And what is that? Well, let's say I was going into a building and I was looking for a new doctor's office that I was now going to for the first time and I had never been there.
Mhm.
I might walk down the hallway until I found the one that has meaning for me
Mhm.
with the name on the door. What would I know about the other offices? Nothing. I might have looked at the things and I just went, no, it's not the doctor. Okay. But if you are going to some place for the first time to a new doctor, probably not much of this is going to matter. You're just going to keep going till you see the name on the door. Me, I'm going to be looking at things that you would not think of. Like, I'm going to be looking at what kind of businesses are in the thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm going to be looking at, is it all medical? Like, or, okay, look, there's a CPA there right next to the doctor's office. Right. Those things would not, to either one of you, be important because you'd be
Mhm.
focused on finding the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this idea of where the time exists, your sense of time, is one way to see how these are different. That arrow across there is what creates meaning. What kind of a building is this? That's the meaning, in a sense, of that kind of a business building. Is it all doctors? Is it a doctor and dentist? Is it doctors, CPAs, and a dog catcher? But that changes the meaning of the building. What kind of a building is it in? But what kind of a building is it in to ask you to would be, you don't know.
Yep.
Zero. You don't know. Because you walk past the doors and don't care. You care about the one that you need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not wrong. It's just different. So when I say you both look stressed, what I then did is wait and then ask you for your experience of what I said. I did not ask it as a question. It could be taken as a question, but I just said you both look stressed, just an observation. So I did that on purpose in order to try and get, well, what kind of thing happens inside the two of you when I speak like that? And somehow, Lexie, that's what came out of you. You first feel like you're supposed to know why you're stressed, but then you move away from the stress and connect to Jesse and to me,
Mm-hmm.
which then expands to a much greater thing of importance, which is, but you're not staying in the scene where you could learn what the stress is for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're more focused on having an answer for me than knowing for you.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. And so, Jesse, you're saying that recently, in a 2 hour video that I worked on, God knows how many days, probably 7 or 8 days,
Yeah.
that you pick up a sentence. It's not even a scene, it's a micro scene, it's a sentence.
Yeah.
Can you remember, if it was in a scene, can you remember anything that I said before that sentence? Of course not. After that sentence? Of course not.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I got after the sentence is you saying that doesn't mean uh it doesn't diminish anything about me and Lexi. Like it doesn't diminish any of the learning or something. I think you said in like a 2 hour group I take away one scene, which
But what we're talking about something different, Jesse. What I'm trying to say to you is you're taking away one sentence. That's
yeah,
not a scene.
yeah, yeah,
That's one piece, one small element of a scene.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I watched the video yesterday,
The video,
the video we're referencing,
the
the first basics
first one,
video.
okay.
I watched up to, I don't know if it's the same scene, Jesse. I watched up to like just over an hour. And Steve mentioned Sam went to Sam left the video to go somewhere, and Steve's talking to Eric and says about how people learn differently in the community. And he mentions you and I, Linda, and Sarah, and then says to Eric that he's wants to know for himself, uh, like the big picture. I want to learn about what it means to live or be or understand something more philosophical is what I took away. Versus, I don't know, Steve, if you're saying versus us wanting to know for the scene, like us wanting to know the doctor's office, us wanting to know for a client versus the big picture. Um,
So let's take that building and you have a
okay.
doctor's appointment and you go into the office. Your
Hmm.
assessment of the doctor is likely to be the scene you're in. Is the office pleasant? Is the guy nice?
Hmm.
Etc. But you will not be taking into account what it means that he's in a building where he's the only doctor and the rest are garbage collectors or bill collectors or something else.
Mm.
Would that change your sense of the doctor? Well, you wouldn't see it, so therefore it wouldn't. Your entire assessment would be of inside the office. Is that of value? Of course it is.
Yeah.
But what would it mean that the person is in a building which isn't with other doctors or other professionals? Well, it would have a meaning. I'm not saying what it is. I'm just simply saying that information, which you and Jesse would likely leave out,
Mm.
would affect me.
Mm.
So you would have the experience in the doctor's office, but I would have the experience of walking to the doctor's office, past the other offices. And that is a different way to learn whether a doctor is what kind of practice it is.
Mm.
Hmm.
Years ago, I remember going to some, I don't remember what the doctor was for. Um, I do remember that it was, I think he was in, from India, and this was 40 years ago or something or more. And he was in he was in a huge old house, and all the other offices were basically accountants.
Mm.
I can vividly remember, you know, that the context of the other offices. It's like at least 40 years ago.
Mm.
So what did it mean? Part of the meaning was that he was probably at that time, because he was dark skinned, not accepted into a lot of medical buildings.
Mm.
Now I can't know for sure, but that was a piece of the meaning that I took away and still have all these years later.
Well, yeah. This reminds me, Steve, of when you talk about knowing something about the author's life, like about
Hmm.
Freud's daughter, or like
Ah, that's right.
instead of just reading the work.
That is a brilliantly good example, Jesse, because most of what's in the books isn't a scene or a story, it's an idea.
Yeah.
And an idea is meaningless unless you have a scene or a story, or both, to ground it. So most of those technical books are just ideas. They're very impersonal.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
if I think that Alfred Adler, who invented the term inferiority complex, right? If I then add in that he had an older brother who was at the time very successful and he was not, and then you see inferiority complex, look at the difference in the meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that one. It
It's
gives it so
huge.
much more. Yeah.
It's huge, but that's meaning, right? Because the term itself, you know, now I could, if I had, could equally, if I read some scene where he was in with his older brother when they were
Mhm.
younger, I could have drawn something from that as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I changed, Jesse changed the venue, the context, to this idea of learning about famous therapists and knowing something about their life and adding that to their ideas.
Hmm.
And it gives the meaning, it gives something to it. If you knew a personal experience, it would add more. I don't know any.
Mhm.
But the idea that Jesse changed the scene, I watched you struggle to keep up in some ways when he made the change.
Mm.
Mm.
And why is that? Is there anything in between these two scenes? No. Blankness.
Mhm.
Blankness. So what is it like when you're in one scene and then you change to another? From the outside, it looks as if you have an Etch-a-Sketch pad where somebody's drawing a scene on it, and in
Mm-hmm.
order to move to a different scene, you have to pull the page up, erase what was there, and start drawing the new scene.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it's like for me? It's like I have an unlimited amount of Etch-a-Sketch pads. And when one is there and I move to the next one, I lay that on the table and I work on this one. They don't go away for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So for you two, you move from scene to scene. You must go blank. You must pull the Etch-a-Sketch page up and empty it in order to fit the new scene.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're interpreting that blankness as something against your intelligence rather
Yeah.
than seeing it's your nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
And taking the two things that you said, you both look stressed and then you have a reaction. You say, I feel like I'm supposed to know why, be able to say why. Then I see you and Jesse.
Mhm.
These don't, these don't, there's no way these connect. They're
Mhm.
two completely different worlds. In one world, you're stressed, in the other world, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And by changing scenes, you leave the stressful thing, but you leave without learning. And that is what you were saying, Jesse, right?
Yeah.
That by you focusing on the one sentence, um, you couldn't leave the scene. Different than what Lexie did. You couldn't leave the scene.
Yeah.
And at least saying what it's one sentence out of 2 hours, where's the rest?
Oh yeah. Oh, I've learned so much since then. But yeah, it happened. I mean, yeah, that's how it happened originally. Yeah.
So you two might both say, okay, so does learning require that you know a story? Yes.
Yeah.
But a person who only has a story, there's no depth to what they learn.
Yeah.
So, um, roughly 2 weeks ago, I had my every 3 month uh, checkup, whatever, and I have for 3 years been worried about um, health problems that could kill me,
Mm-hmm.
specifically the phosphorus problem, low phosphorus, where I could die
Mm.
for 3 years. I had chemotherapy, I did all manner of things, took all manner of pills, took enough pills to have diarrhea for months because
Mm.
whatever, and then figured out that if I have diarrhea, the phosphorus is not going into my body, like all manner of things. Anyway,
Mm.
so I went and got my blood tested 2 Thursdays ago. I went to the appointment the following Tuesday. The It had snowed. When I got to the office, uncharacteristically, I was the only one in the waiting room. I was 10 minutes early. I got sent in early. I've never had that in 20 years.
Mm.
I go in and sit down. I am anxious. I had gotten earlier an email saying that the results from the blood tests were in and I could look at them that morning. I played out a story in my mind, if I looked at them and they were bad again,
Mm.
that I would be unable to talk to him until hours later. So I made a decision based on the played out story to wait till I saw him. I go in, he looks at the results, and he's saying, I'm really happy with these results. I'm
Mm.
really happy. Your kidney numbers are good, your liver numbers are good, your cholesterol. I have had genetically high cholesterol first measured at age 23. It's for 3 blood tests in a row, it's been normal for the first time in my life.
Mm.
And
Wow.
the phosphorus problem, which has been 3 years, is just about normal. Okay. Both of you have more feeling about this than me. Both of you. Were you to watch back this minute and what you just said, both of you have more feeling than me because I'm telling a story. The meaning is what I'm focused on. But I have been profoundly affected by leaving that appointment and going home and feeling some relief. But in effect, the thing was the best blood test I've had in at least 10 years. Major problems have been resolved, at least at that point,
Mhm.
and I don't have the feeling of, oh, I'm going to live. I am welling up right
Mm.
now because I can't access it. The two of you accessed it immediately. This is as clear an example as I can show you of if you're seen first, the experience is your first experience. And if your story first, the meaning, it means it looks like I'm going to live. That's the meaning. That's it. In the session before, with Tim and Tom, at the end, Tom told a story, a sequence of events. And then I stopped the both after he got done and I said, can you see how unemotional you are? And the story was about how he could possibly get a free doctoral degree and be paid to for his work while he's in school.
Wow.
Now, both of you just had experience. Both of you. Tom had none when he was telling it. He was just reciting the pieces. Now, you didn't have that about the whole thing. You had it about the sentence that gave you an ability to picture something. The rest of it, you're basically waiting.
Mm.
So, I just told you both the story of me going to the doctor's office. Can you tell what kind of a doctor he is? You're having the you're having the panic, Lexie. You can't either, Jesse. Watch. I went into the office and sat down, and he said, I'm really happy with these results. I'm really happy. That didn't hit either one of you because that's part of the meaning. It doesn't have a meaning to either one of you right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a meaning.
Yeah.
I think I'm confused. And during when you told the story in entirety, it had a meaning to me.
That he was happy.
Yeah.
But what this, okay, so scene story is about how you recall things. It's about memory,
Hmm.
right? So when I said the thing about the doctor, I left space. Now you might now see or remember that you had had something before, but in a person who is telling a story, all those each of those pieces has a meaning in the context of the whole thing. The meaning doesn't go away because that's the main thing that is focused on in the story. Okay, you're confused?
Hmm.
You are mistaking remembering that it was said for it having a meaning.
Well, I was anxious when you were telling the story. I
Okay?
c- and when you said the doctor was happy with the results, it was I felt relieved.
Okay? Did
And
you have
so,
any did you have any reaction, Jesse, when I said it? Do you even remember me saying it?
What the doctor said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt an outcome of when I think about it, like a good outcome. I
mm,
didn't have a meaning for the doctor being he sound like when I
That
think about it,
that the thing you just said is a meaning. And you can tell it's a meaning because you have way less experience.
yeah,
mm,
yeah,
It lands on one side or the other, an experience or a meaning.
that's interesting. I didn't
And
have a meaning for who he was as a doctor and
I
as a
get it.
person.
That
Yeah,
and that comes from the story.
yeah. When you play it, when you say it
Right.
again,
And
see,
yes, and Lexi, you had the same reaction about the outcome, but not the doctor, and that was what I had asked about.
mm,
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can, I can see
And
I missed
and
that.
this is important, what just got
Mhm,
said, because you will, both of you will naturally try to go to the most salient scene, the thing that has the most juice
Yeah,
mm,
when asked that kind of a question. But it
yeah.
doesn't answer the question.
mhm. Yeah, I think I got confused about so the question was what kind of doctor? Was that your
That's
question? What kind
correct.
of doctor is
Yes.
he?
Yeah,
And then you're talking about him saying he was happy with the results, and I don't understand how they're connected.
that's right, because you can't see that as a meaning.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no, but you don't have to say no because you're still struggling to understand the word meaning and how it's different from experience.
Mm.
So, kata levenete elenika. Okay. Now you both had an experience. You smiled and Jesse smiled and half anxious.
Yeah, I thought I missed
But you
something.
both had an experience. Do you know what the words meant?
No.
So can you see that the experience existed but it didn't have a meaning?
Mhm.
Mhm. And I can feel a little bit of panic to find a meaning.
Yes.
Like I was like, is that the doctor's name? That was my first search for something.
But this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you both
Yeah,
to see
there's so
there's a
much.
difference between a meaning and an and a experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of panic in that moment for me.
And meanwhile, you're supposed to understand Greek. I just ask you if you speak Greek.
I don't know.
In Greek.
Yeah,
Oh, it felt like the Etch a Sketch pulling the new page, and I liked it. It surprised me.
Yeah. But you see, when I told you the meaning, do you see the aha you had? If anybody's watching this, because I would love to put this up there, because this is really, we are, this is um, scene story orientation for scene persons.
yeah.
right? And what just happened is you just had an aha.
Mm.
And one of the things, it has enormous meaning to me.
Mm,
What's the meaning? Well, that was a perfect example of an aha can't happen without a scene and a story both merging into one
Mm.
thing.
Mm.
Now, you're lost because I'm saying something that's theoretical, but
mhm.
that's what you
Are you
had.
are you talking about Jesse or me having an aha?
You.
Okay.
You were surprised
Yes.
at the meaning, but you already had the experience, and you had, both of you had strong reactions to the experience.
Mhm,
You had the experience. It was not, you didn't go blank, you didn't stop.
mhm,
You had an experience.
Mhm.
But then, when I said what it meant, you had a pleasant surprise.
mhm,
And I am saying that were you to watch this, you would see that that's what an emergence is.
mhm,
And it doesn't matter the order. You could have a story and then have a scene and have them then merge into an aha, or the opposite. Have a scene and then you see how it fits into a story, like what I just did. You have the scene of Kata la Venete Lenica, and then see the smile?
mhm,
That's the proof that you've had an aha. Because now, when I say those words, you relive the aha.
mhm,
Mm.
Because you not only have the experience, but you also know what the experience means.
Mm.
You literally know the meaning of the words.
mhm,
Or maybe you don't in this moment. It means, do you speak Greek?
mhm,
Now you see the smile. When you try and access the meaning alone, you go blank. When I say something that causes you to relive the aha, you smile.
Mm.
So, Jesse, if
Yeah.
either one is missing, you don't have the aha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how can you say one is more valuable than the other? I suppose some people value one over the other. It depends on the person. But in reality, is one more valuable than the other? No.
mhm,
Yeah.
And you need both to have an aha.
Mm. Yeah.
So, we'll try another one. Posso sas costal. Now, you've had an aha recently from this type of experience.
Mm.
So you're reliving that without knowing the meaning of what I just said.
mhm.
Mm.
And you can make guesses about something. Like, make a guess, Jesse. What can you tell about what I just said?
Um,
From the experience.
from the
What can
experience.
you guess from the experience?
Oh my God.
Okay, watch. Posso sas costal.
It sounds pleasant. It
Okay.
feels pleasant to
I
me.
want you to hear the melody.
Mm,
Yeah.
Posso sas
mhm,
costal.
Sounds like a question.
Excellent, Jesse. Now you got that from the experience, but the
mm,
pressure for you to know the meaning
mm.
interfered with your hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it how are you?
No,
Mhm.
it's how much does that cost? Now, can you hear how much does that cost? Is a similar
Yeah.
melody.
Hmm.
There are many how are yous, but Tikanis, that time, Jesse, did you hear the melody? Tikanis,
Nice.
Pososas Costal.
Is that the answer? Tikans.
What's Tikanis?
Sounds like an answer.
It is colloquial Greek for how are you?
Mm.
It literally means what are you doing?
Um, yeah. No, like my experience of um, the second time he did it said something in Greek. I had less of the searching for the meaning because I'm reliving what just happened.
That's correct.
But then I also had this like complete freedom thing where I didn't even think about any part of it. Like I just was in the niceness of the feeling.
Mm.
But then when you asked me it to get make a guess, it was interesting to me that it had something that sounds like a question. But like I wouldn't have like you know what I mean? I would have just stayed
Yes,
in
Jesse.
not
Do you
knowing.
understand the pressure to know immediately, have an
Yeah.
answer to what it means, prevents you from noticing what you took in?
Mm.
Yes. And I can go in either opposite extreme, like pressure to know and then complete, all right, I don't know this. It's something Greek again.
Mm.
So just freedom from it. But when you asked me, it was nice that there was really something solid there intuitively that I didn't pay attention to, which is really,
It's more than intuition because it is a pattern that babies learn by the time they're 2 years old.
yeah,
That there's a difference between that and, you know, um,
yeah,
how much does this cost?
yeah.
Right? Posos costal.
Yeah.
But
That's
you don't
helpful.
have to know the meaning to have the experience tell you things about volume, tone of voice.
Yeah. Something like some injury or I don't know what it is, but
It's
when I
not an
have
injury, Jesse, it's a pattern. If
like
it
when
was an injury, all the times you go blank would be sudden, and neither both of you are going blank
yeah,
because the etch a sketch page is lifting. You know the ing? It's
Mhm.
happening. It's a
yeah,
process. It's happening. Maybe it takes 2 seconds, but it's still happening. It's not.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas an injury, the etch a sketch pad would be thrown away. It would suddenly disappear from your hands.
Mm. Yeah. There's something in me about when I don't have a meaning, I have nothing. And that what just happened is I have something, but
You
I've
have an
just
experience, Jesse.
yeah, and I've
This is what I'm
overlooked
trying.
it.
What I'm
Yeah,
trying to get across is that experience and meaning are separate.
yes.
If you're seen first, your experience is your main, what you want or what you use or what you recall. And if you're a story first, its meaning is what you first
Mm.
recall.
Yeah.
I mentioned Tom, who was seen at the end, telling a story about how the steps that would happen for him to get a free government paid for doctoral degree. But while Tom was telling the story, he had no experience. He was simply reporting it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I was telling the story about my doctor's visit, I was having the meaning. but no experience, or little, not none, but little.
Yeah.
The idea that I'm going to live, that I've been 3 years waiting to die, and I don't know that it's certainly not a final thing, but the direction that things are going, it's the best blood test I've had in 10 years. I can't feel it as much as you two felt it because I'm telling a story.
Mm,
And it's my life.
mm,
So, Lexi, when I was saying the thing to you about the aha, in emergence, learning is having an aha, an emergence, an epiphany.
Mhm.
It is uniting the experience with the meaning into something that's more greater than the sum of the parts.
Mhm.
But you both have probably been thinking, well, the story is the more important thing. In some sense, schools ask for that sometimes. But you try in a writing class on writing to write a story where the plot is really good, but there are no scenes, and you're not going to get an A. Like everybody's gone to a movie where the plot was really good, you stayed to the end, but the movie sucked
Mhm.
because you were like trapped to try and know the outcome, but that was all you were getting at the end. You
mm,
saw how it turned out. It doesn't make a good movie. And there are movies where you've gone to where there's an outrageous scene, but the meaning of the story, nothing. In the end, you know, you stay for more scenes and you're disappointed. Like, what was that?
mm,
So it is the pairing of the two things into becoming one that makes the value.
mm. Yeah. And I can see the learning in that too. You have the epiphany of them together, and that's how you learn. I mean,
Yeah, look at the difference in how you understood the second time, Jesse, when I said the second Greek sentence.
yeah,
The both of you smiled,
yeah,
despite not knowing what it meant.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe one of the rare times in your lives where you could have an experience and not worry about the meaning.
yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that is hard for people who are seen is decisions, because
Yeah.
a decision, it requires you see this, then this, then this. Therefore, do I pick this or this? It requires a story. So seen people tend to pick either the good scene or the bad scene of that's has a lot of feeling as the way to make a decision.
Mm,
I started playing the piano again. I sat down 2 different times in the last week and I saw myself get frustrated because obviously I can't play the way I want to play it. But when I sat down for the second time, things felt a little bit more fluid. I could read the notes with less effort. I can go a little faster. And I didn't take into account the whole time that that's meaningful.
Ah, that's brilliant, Lexi.
Mm.
Yes.
So I
That's what
won't,
learn
yeah, yeah.
but what you're describing is the learning process. And the
Mm,
word process here means the story of learning.
Mhm.
What I was doing before when I pointed out that you had a scene and then you were surprised when I told you the meaning and that the surprise united the two pieces, you could see that as what was happened in the moment, right? That's a
mhm,
description of the aha. But what you just described is the story, the process of learning.
mhm,
The, the emergence is the evidence that you just learned something.
mhm,
But the process, the story of it is how you came to learn that thing.
mhm. Yeah, I think about how often I just believe I can't do something because right now I can't do it the way that I would like to do it.
Mhm.
So I don't try the process.
So, in some sense, are you saying that the process doesn't is discarded, like you ignore it or something?
Yeah, like it
It doesn't come into being,
doesn't come.
doesn't right, doesn't occur to you.
Yep.
And yet, the thing that you just told is a perfect example of learning
Mm,
as a process. Hey, here's what's different. You see, you talked about sitting down twice in the past week to play.
mhm,
And of course, you said, I can't play very well. So when you did that, sitting down to play the first time, sitting down to play the second time, if there was no story, then it would be just two times that you played and it was difficult.
mhm,
But you took something and you connected this scene and this scene. You began to make a story, the
mm,
line
yeah.
between the scenes. Right. Now, you could have, in an empty way, told this as, I played twice this week. Um, I got better the second time than the first. And that is the story without any experience.
Mm,
So it has a meaning. The meaning is that you got better
yeah.
from playing twice. Right. But it doesn't say much about whether you liked it.
Mhm,
So when you just told that, and technically it's not a story because there's only two scenes, but the other scenes are kind of implied, like because you said, I haven't played in a long time, so that's kind of the starting scene. Then you play one time, then you play a second time, and that's the story of you playing recently.
mhm,
But the meaning that you get better, that you got better the second time than the first. Even the way I'm saying it, I'm including both. Got better the second time than the first. They're
mhm.
connected. You're going blank, Jesse, because you normally don't connect scenes.
Yeah.
I think about your book, Jesse, because there's so many different pieces that have added up over time to create the outcome. At least the first book you completed for Otis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I wonder how you would tell the story now because I wonder if they're individual scenes or if it has a meaning from when you first had the idea to having the recording finished.
She's asking you to drop in at different points in the process and say, do you have a sense of the meaning as you're doing it? Did the meaning only emerge after you,
Mm,
in hindsight and look back?
Yeah, I mean, it was only at the end. For me, it was a lot of experience throughout it. Like the high of writing this, the he's gonna laugh at this part, creating this voice. Like I don't know, put Cookie Monster in here. Like it was just a lot of experience highs for me.
Mm.
Um, then I worked on it with my brother, my stepbrother, who helped me do a lot of the audio like engineering. And that part was hard for me. I just wanted to do it. The process,
You hear the thing? I just wanted to do it.
yeah,
In other words, you just want to be in the scene of succeeding.
yes. And
Meanwhile, you can't.
it was humbling. I mean, we spent at least 20 to 30 hours on it to get it done. Um, it was humbling as hell. Um, and then honestly, this is so interesting, Steve. I showed it to I sent it to friends of ours that have two kids, and they played it on a road trip for their kids. And I have a line in the end where this character that saves Otis in the end says, "I'll always be here to protect you." And it was something like that. And the friend that listened to this was like, "Yeah, I saw a lot of meaning in this line at the end."
Ah, that's
And I was like surprised. I was like, "Oh, glad you saw that." Like it was not like,
because it wasn't a meaning to you. It was simply a part of a scene.
Mm.
The
yes,
last scene is the person says this line.
yeah,
But can you see that here's an experience you had? You created it,
yes,
but the other person saw the meaning.
yes.
Mm.
And I remember feeling it was a pleasant surprise, but I remember feeling surprised, like that wasn't intentional at all. It just came out of me. And that's a really nice feeling to know that we have that one half of the coin,
Mm.
meaning in our half. We just don't see it. And I think I get startled when I don't see it. But it's in there from our life and
It so you know the two things are two separate things. Like it isn't a matter of everybody would experience what you experience, Jesse.
yeah,
Don't just take it for granted. There are
well
plenty of people who can't.
that too. Yeah.
And then somebody asks the person, "What was that like for you?" And
Yeah.
they can't say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wept. I wept hearing the finished episode, the finale. I just wept the first time I heard it. And yeah, I mean, she didn't have that experience
Yeah,
listening to it.
yeah. And that's being in the "I'll always be there for you" scene.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's not about what happened that led to that. That's only in the story.
Mm.
Yes.
In other words, think about this. You go to the mall, stranger comes up to you and says, "I'll always be there for you." Are you going to have that reaction?
No, really. I'd run.
You would run. Think about what I'm saying
Yes,
because you
that's so
have no
good.
story within which that occurs.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, yeah. Different meaning.
Completely different meaning.
Yeah, they might be high or mentally deranged or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but the point is that here's the same event taken out of the story and look at the difference.
Yeah. Even if I had the same story and Otis was like 20 and I had that line and it would hit a little different. It would be,
Yeah, it'd be a lot different.
yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah. It fits where he's at
Mhm.
speaking that way, you know.
Yeah, and that's a part of the scenes. Like the each scene has that, but you only see that what you just said. It's a part of where he's at.
Yeah,
That is the meaning. That's
yeah.
a meaning.
Yeah, I'll
It's
always
not the
be,
experience.
you're
Where
right.
he's at across scenes is a story thing.
Yeah. Yep.
It comes from that point in his child development.
Yeah, he's in a forever place. He's in a always hits different.
Yeah, he always sits different.
Always be there. That was good. See,
Oh,
stranger coming up to you saying that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
so both of you, this has to affect your careers when you're sitting with people and talking to them because you're going to be looking for the most powerful scene
Mhm.
and want to stay there.
Hmm.
And if the person's story first, um, to some degree, they won't feel like you understand them because you literally don't understand what they're focused on, which is the meaning.
Mhm.
Years ago, I had early 90s, I had a guy come who had 9 months sober. He had been coming to me a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times. He sat down and he just started talking about how he had anxiety about paying his bills. I started to try to tell him about the process necessary to manage your bills. He lasted 10 minutes. He got up really angry and ran out of the room. Never came back.
Mhm.
Can you see what I did wrong?
Are you in a story and he's in a scene?
You're asking, Jesse, can you, and it's
Yes.
not wrong. It's just, Jesse, can you see means can you know? Can
Yes.
you see? Can you see
Absolutely.
the difference, Lexie?
Yeah.
You've mentally guessed that, and that's true, but can you see? What can you see, Jesse?
I see myself in the guy.
Yeah,
Um, Even this past week,
Mhm.
dealing with, I've told you both about this client that was suicidal or made an attempt last week.
yeah,
Mhm.
And when I'm in the scene and I'm young, and you talk to me about a process of how to get out of this with her,
yeah.
refer her out, or all these sorts of things, like I've really lost it this week where
Mhm.
I'm like that guy running out of the office. I kind of shut down, defensive. She won't want that. I know she won't want that. She won't want a intensive care program. I know she won't do that. I get like really, I don't know, shooting lasers or something. Um, Having this awareness though, I come back quicker from it. I'm starting to understand like how much process kind of hurts me. Um,
Why does the process hurt you? Do you have a sense of it?
Yeah, some sense of like it's a blind spot. I feel like someone's mad at me for not seeing it or knowing it. I did something wrong. It's like all in there. Um, Feels like someone yelling at me as a little boy to like know something I don't know yet. You know, that's what it feels. It feels really bad.
So in this situation, here's a person where it's a patient who attempted suicide,
Yeah,
and you're trying to think of where to go, what to do,
yeah,
and you're simply leaping into scenes and trying them on. And you
yes,
leap into scenes where you're suggesting something and this person doesn't want it,
yeah.
doesn't go well.
No,
Right,
absolutely, yeah,
right. So I want you to see that's exactly the same pattern as we began with today, where Lexie is, I say you look stressed, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, I feel like I need to explain, be able to explain why. But then saw you and Jesse. She leaped from the stressful scene to the stress-free scene.
yeah, absolutely. And I can
Right.
see the stress-free scene for me is just swallow this and keep going with her.
That's not stress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Tell me.
In that mindset, I know that's not what I just can't do it.
I see. So seeing that you continue to do therapy with the person decreases your stress. Is that what you just said?
When I'm in that place and I'm scene hopping, that's
Yeah.
one thing that comes out, but it's just becoming less and less true. Like I've canceled on her twice in a row and I've had the best therapy days I've had in a while.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I see that story.
Okay. Think of what you're saying.
Yeah,
No, but you're just reporting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah,
Right. Can you see it as a story?
yeah,
You canceled the first time. Then
yeah.
you canceled the second time. Then looking back, those are the most whatever.
Yeah, I was locked in. That's all I can say about it. I was happier, locked in
Okay, look at the process. How many times did you cancel?
twice.
How many times did Lexi practice piano?
Twice. Yeah,
This is important
and I'm
because even
trying.
though there are two primary scenes there in both your cases, there's a before. Lexi said, I haven't played piano in a while, and you're describing the attempted suicide. So in reality, there's three scenes, which is the minimum for a story, and then you get a meaning from that. But the meaning only emerges from you seeing you canceled once and then you canceled again and then you felt better.
Yeah,
What I'm saying, I'm saying steps,
yes.
and the steps have they have a relationship in
Mm-hmm.
time on the same timeline. They're not, you canceled once, then you went bought an ice cream, then you canceled again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People who write stories do that stuff to misdirect you so that you're surprised by where you're going.
Mm,
It's harder for
Mm-hmm.
you to see the process. So it's a device that people who write stories use all the time.
mm,
Misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's amazing.
So when you sit down to play the piano, Lexi,
Mm-hmm.
are you looking to learn or are you looking to have learned? Like just play?
I want to just play.
Right, you
Oh,
both just
yeah.
smiled. Yes. And this is partly what it means to be seen.
Yeah,
You want to get to the scene where you can play, just play.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like this job doesn't allow for that quite yet. Still, like just to play, it's so painful, this job.
The
And
job
I
meaning being a
like being a
therapist.
therapist, and I think about how there's this other side that I don't know if it really exists, where it's not painful.
Hmm. I don't think there is any way to learn without having the pain of not knowing, and that's what you're avoiding,
Yeah.
the pain of not knowing, sitting there. And it's not a matter of a scene where you go, oh, I can't play, and quit.
Mm,
It's a matter of, I'm not playing as well as I want to, I'm going to keep going.
yeah.
And anytime you hear ing, it's a process. Going instead of went. It's moving. Yeah, happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're looking for a solution, Lexi, and um, all you're doing is looking to get out of the pain,
Hmm.
it's definitely just a change from one scene to another.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the escape from one scene to another doesn't do much about predicting your future at all. It's more just about the present. When you're asking me a question about the case, you're literally setting it up and asking me about something that is going on in the future. Can you see that?
Hmm. Yeah.
If the thing involves trying to affect the future, it requires that you have a story in order to make the decision.
Hmm.
Because even though you could imagine a scene in the future, the scene that your mind is the present moment for you as a person, as an experience. So you could say, what am I going to be like when I'm 60? And you could do
Hmm.
an imaginary scene. But the scene is literally what you're experiencing in the present moment, even
Hmm.
though it's about the future. But it's not trying to affect the future. This is difficult. In the case
So,
that you're telling me about the present,
mhm,
literally the whatever, but you are leaping to some point in the future and afraid that you'll be liable.
mhm,
How do you get there? How do you get between the pieces? And that then is the question that the story answers. How did you
mhm.
go from here to here? And what paths could you take from here to here that would prevent any liability? Only a story can do that. Where half the world just seeks to get out of the painful scene.
I'm stuck on the example of predicting what I'll be like at 60. How does a story first person
They
do that?
okay, that's excellent. That's a good question. So if a person, let's say it's Jesse, and he's trying to say, I want to have my retirement well in place by the time I'm 60.
Mhm,
Okay. If all he does is worry about whether he will or won't have enough money at 60, that's the scene.
mhm,
In other words, he's simply taking the worry he has today and painting it onto the scene that in his mind that's in the future. It's the same scene really. It's just saying, okay, now it's in the future. The worry is the same. But if you then want to solve that, it requires you having some path from where he is now to where he'll be at 60.
mhm.
And it has to be a story. It can't just be he goes from this scene to this scene. How'd you get there? It's the
Mm-hmm.
lottery. You play that somebody will just drop money in your lap. Like, how are you getting there? However, let's just say that it is Sam, and he wants this financial security by 60. And Sam says, okay, well, I'm going to put aside X amount of money every month,
Mm-hmm.
which is a story unfolding. And then I'll get there and he does the math and he figures out how much he'll have at that point, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But let's say that the amount of money that Sam chooses causes him to be unable to go out to restaurants for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's him missing the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So he could get to the place he wants to go and he could literally have a plan that would get him there. But to see what it's going to be like to live like that requires that you see the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Both things are necessary. This is what I've been trying to get across. And despite the feeling that the both of you are defective because you're seeing scene, this is doesn't apply. It is what parts can you see, what parts are you blind to. It shows you like pieces that you have to work on in order to, get what you want. And for you, Lexie, the piece to really see is what you did in the beginning of going from you feel that you should have be able to explain why you are anxious or whatever, stressed, to seeing Jesse and I and being relieved. There's no story. How'd you get from one to the other?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Your stress was relieved,
Mm-hmm.
but did you learn anything about you being stressed, let alone how do you get out of it? No. Learning requires a story. That's it. Learning. But learning requires scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Learning requires both.
So, would it be considered learning that I see how I'll go to a more pleasant scene to escape the painful one?
Yes. If okay, wait. If the meaning is that's why you don't enjoy learning, if you can see what
Mm-hmm.
it does to you, you can see how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That part you do well. You could follow that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am saying is, can you see the meaning of you doing that repeatedly over time? Going from the painful scene to a scene where you're not in pain.
Mm-hmm.
It means that you avoid the very thing that would generate the learning. And you haven't had the aha yet, even though you're following my ideas. You haven't had the aha. Because what would it look like if you had the aha? Well, you'd have a pleasant surprise. About what? You'd be surprised that that's all you need to do to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, because you have this reputation to yourself that you're bad at learning.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, here's where that's coming from, and here's how it could change. And surprise, the entire thing's focusing on scene story awareness. The entire thing. I didn't tell you take notes or get a better teacher or pick a better subject. None of that. Everything I just said is just about scene story.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time connecting it to learning
I
emergence.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Okay.
But I want you to see that what you're missing is the story. You're understanding the things I'm saying, but you're just moving from
Mm-hmm.
one to the other.
Yeah.
You had it in your story about piano lesson
Mhm.
practice, right? You had it that you could then see that you got better. It got
Mhm.
easier. That's the meaning. It got easier. The fact that you played and then played a second time, those are scenes. The fact that the second scene was easier, okay, great. But the fact that you connected the first scene to the second scene and saw that the first one was a reason why the second one got easier.
Mhm.
See the word why?
Yeah.
It's connecting the scenes that creates the story.
Yeah. It makes me think about how I avoid so much, but it's not like I just am suddenly going to come into I have it and I'm no longer avoiding and it's easy.
That, you are getting it. That's exactly what you just said is exactly the truth.
Mhm.
So we have to go, but this
Yeah.
idea, I mean, this has really been a very um, detailed look at what it's like for seeing people to try and manage your life.
Mm.
You don't have a problem reporting the scenes in detail, but you have a problem seeing how you're going to get out of the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you both.
The bigger thing for you to take away is that story first people have trouble taking credit because they see the path, they see the meaning, but they don't see their own work.
Mhm.
They don't see their own struggle. In the case of my doctor's appointment, I didn't look at the 3 years in which I was repeatedly having anxiety attacks about dying. And both of you are feeling it more than I am right now. So when you think about, the downside of being seen, remember what I'm telling you about me.
Mm.
I can't really appreciate that whatever. And on that note, all right, you two. I hope you have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.